as memory may be a paradise from which we cannot be driven, it may also be a hell from which we cannot escape. John Lancaster Spaulding. In The Secret Life of Bees, 14-year-old Lily articulates some of the fondest memories of her mother. However, one particular memory conjures up the painful truth that becomes her hell. From The Secret Life of Bees by Sumonk Kidd. My first and only memory of my mother was the day she died. I tried for a long time to conjure up an image of her before that. Just a sliver of something. Like her tucking me into bed, reading the adventures of Uncle Wiggily, or hanging my underclothes near the space heater on ice-cold mornings. Even her picking a switch of the forsythia bush and stinging my legs would have been welcome. The day she died was December 3rd, 1954. The furnace had cooked the air so hot, my mother had peeled off her sweater and stood in short sleeves, jerking at the window in her bedroom, wrestling with the stuffed paint. Finally she gave up and said, "Well, fine, we'll just burn the hell up in here, I guess." Her hair was black and generous, with thick curls circling her face. A face I could never quite coax into view, despite the sharpness of everything else. I raised my arms to her and she picked me up, saying I was way too big a girl to hold like this, but holding me anyway. The moment she lifted me, I was wrapped in her smell. The scent got laid down in me in a permanent way and had all the precision of cinnamon. I used to go regularly into the Silver Mercantile and smell every perfume bottle they had, trying to identify it. Every time I showed up, the perfume lady acted surprised, saying, "Well, my goodness, look who's here." Like I hadn't been in there the week before and gone down the entire row of bottles. Shalimar, Chanel No. 5, white shoulder. I'd say, "You got anything new?" She never did. The afternoon my mother died, there was a suitcase open on the floor sitting near the stuck window. She moved in and out of the closet, dropping this and that into the suitcase, not bothering to fold them. I followed her into the closet and scooted beneath dress hems and pant legs, into darkness and wisps of dust. I stuck my hands inside a pair of white high heels and I clapped them together. The closet floor vibrated whenever someone climbed the stairs below us, which is how I knew T-Ray was coming. Over my head I heard my mother pulling the things from the hangers, the swish of clothes wide clinking together. "Hurry," she said. When his shoes clumped into the room, she sighed, her breath leaving her as if her lungs had suddenly clenched. This is the last thing I remember with perfect crispness. Her breath floating down to me like a tiny parachute, collapsing without a trace among the piles of shoes. I don't remember what they said, only the fury of their words. How the air turned raw and full of wails. Later it would remind me of birds trapped inside a room, flinging themselves against the windows and walls, against each other. I inched backward, deeper into the closet, feeling my fingers in my mouth. The taste of shoes, of feet, dragged out. I didn't know at first whose hands pulled me. And then I found myself in my mother's arms, breathing her smell. She smoothed my hair and said, "Don't worry." But even as she said it, I was peeled away by T-Rex. He carried me to the door and he set me down in the hallway. "Go to your room," he said. I don't want to," I cried, trying to push past him, back into the room, back where she was. "Get in your damned room," he shouted and shoved me. I fell back against the wall and then fell forward onto my hands and knees. Lifting my head, looking past him, I saw her running across the room, running at him and yelling, "Leave her alone!" I huddled on the floor beside the door and watched through air that seemed all scratched up. I saw him take her by the shoulders and shake her. I saw the whiteness of his lips. And then, though everything starts to blur now in my mind, she lunged away from him into the closet, away from his grabbing hands, scrambling for something high on a shelf. When I saw the gun in her hand, I ran toward her, clumsy and falling, wanting to save her, to save us all. Time folded in on itself then. What is left lies in clear yet disjointed pieces in my head. The gun, shining like a toy in her hand. How he snatched it away and waved it around. The gun on the floor, bending to pick it up. The noise that exploded around us. This is what I know about myself. She was all I wanted. And I took her away.